Hello and welcome to the very first of my home practice yoga sessions. I'm Carol Maguire and this is a 30-minute introduction to yoga. If practiced regularly, yoga will help to keep you both physically and mentally fit, will increase your energy levels and boost your immune system. So come and join me in cross-legged position. Feel free to sit on a folded blanket, a cushion or even a block. Then you're going to take your hands into Jnana Mudra, taking the forefinger and thumb together, backs of the hands to the knees. We're going to relax the shoulders and switch on our ujjayi breath. We're making a slightly smaller opening at the back of the throat. We can hear our breath a little louder as we do that, and we're feeling as though the in-breath is pouring in from above, filling the lungs, front, sides and back. The out-breath coming from below, a lift of the pelvic floor, deep abdominal muscles engage, diaphragm rises, and we're looking for a softening at the end of every out-breath, maybe into the shoulders or facial muscles. In-breath pouring in from above. Out-breath coming from below, that lift of the pelvic floor, the softening of the shoulders. Next in-breath, we're going to interlink the fingers, lift them up to the throat as we breathe in, twist them at the throat so now the palms are stretching up to the ceiling. And as we breathe out, lift that pelvic floor as we lower the arms slowly by our sides, softening at the end of the out-breath. Let's repeat that. In-breath, lifting the palms to the throat, the twist at the throat, the stretch up to the ceiling. And out-breath as the arms lower, the pelvic floor lifts. Taking that one more time, breathing in. In-breath coming from above, filling the lungs as we stretch up, stretching and lengthening the spine. Out-breath, arms float down. We're going to move into side stretches next. So we're bringing the right hand down, breathing in as we lift the left arm, stretch up, breathing out as we curve that arm overhead, drop our gaze to the floor into a lovely side bend, keeping both sitting bones rooted. As you breathe in again, lift and lengthen a little. And as you breathe out, maybe you can move that right hand a little further away, moving into the bend, softening into the bend. When you're ready to breathe in again, lift both arms up to the ceiling, looking up. And when you breathe out, lower your arms down by your sides as your pelvic floor lifts. Give the shoulders a little roll. As you breathe in again, the left hand is to the floor this time, right arm lifting. And as you breathe out, curving that right arm overhead, dropping your gaze to the floor. Breathing in that position, a little lift of the top arm, a lengthening of the side of the body before you deepen the bend on the out-breath. Maybe you can even bring your forearm and elbow down to the mat, but don't worry if you can't. Keep both sitting bones rooted into the mat. As you breathe in again, push into that bottom hand, lift both arms up, look up, lift your heart. As you breathe out, lower the arms down. Take a little shoulder roll before we do some circling. So you're cupping the knees of the hands, a lovely strong ujjayi in-breath to lengthen. And then as you breathe out, you're folding over that right thigh, stretching forward till you come over the left thigh. Breathing in as you lengthen up. Breathing out, lift the pelvic floor as you fold forward, as you stretch forward and circle. Breathing in as you come up and lengthen. Breathing out as you fold forward, circling forward. Breathing in as you come up and lengthen. We'll change directions. So this time as you breathe out, you're folding over the left thigh, stretching forward till you come over the right thigh. Breathing in to lengthen. Breathing out. Each time your pelvic floor lifts, your sitting bones remain glued into the floor. And as you breathe in, you lengthen, fill the lungs. Last roll forwards as you breathe out and fold, circle forward. Breathing in to come up. Another little softening of the shoulders, and we're going to just stretch out the legs, wriggle the legs, make sure they're comfortable before we come on to hands and knees. And we're going to take the lovely moving cat pose. So make sure the heels of the hands are under shoulders, the fingers are nicely spread, toes are tucked, knees are under hips. And then as you breathe in your strong ujjayi breath, you're lifting the tailbone up to the sky, the back dips, the heart stretches forward, the gaze lifts. As you breathe out, you tuck the tailbone, lift the pelvic floor, arch the back, relax the head and neck. The in-breath is the lift of the tailbone, the dip of the back, the lift of the gaze. Out-breath. Movement starts at the base of the spine as the pelvic floor lifts, tailbone tucks, back arches, head and neck relax. Lengthening the spine on the in-breath, starting at the tailbone, the back dips, the head lifts. Arching and flexing on the out-breath, starting at the tailbone, lift of the pelvic floor, tailbone tucks, back arches, head and neck relax. Breathing in as you lengthen and stretch and lift. Breathing out as you tuck and arch, and that relaxation at the end of the out-breath going into the head and neck. Breathing in as you lift the tailbone, dip the back, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Breathing out as you tuck the tailbone, tummy muscles pull in, back arches, head and neck relax. Coming back to neutral now, we're going to take tiger next. This is a little stronger. We'll start lifting the left leg, left sole of foot lifts to the same time as the head lifts. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, you bring the knee underneath, drop the head, bring the knee towards the forehead. Breathe in and lift both foot and gaze and heart. Breathe out as you take the arch and the tuck. Breathing in. So this movement starts in the middle, the center of the body, rather than rippling from the base of the spine to the top, as in cat. This movement is a central movement, a central arch, a central fold. You're breathing in as you lift, you're breathing out as you tuck and fold. Breathing in as you lift the foot, lift the gaze. Breathing out as you bring that knee underneath, bring the knee towards the forehead. Don't worry if they don't meet, that comes with practice. Breathing in as you lift, breathing out as you tuck. Before we do the other side, let's just shake out our wrists, make sure that we're not overstraining the wrist. You can even do a little counter stretch, as I'm doing now, with the backs of the hands to the floor. And then we'll take the other side. Working with our ujjayi breath, that engagement at the back of the throat, you're breathing in, lifting the sole of the right foot this time. Breathing out as you tuck the leg underneath, drop the head. Breathing in, the foot lifts, the heart lifts, the gaze lifts. Breathing out as you take the fold. You can push gently into your hands to make more room to arch the back a little bit as you breathe out. Breathing in to lift, breathing out to tuck. Moving at your own breathing rate. It's nice to use these videos to see what you're doing, but then you don't have to keep in time with me. You can breathe, use your own breathing rate to just lift and tuck. Lifting and stretching on the in-breath, tucking on the out-breath. Remembering that all-important lift of the pelvic floor as you take the out-breath. So now we're coming to a lovely rest pose, maybe shaking out your wrists again, and we're coming to the rest pose of child, and we're releasing, letting go of that strong working ujjayi breath, just coming to a soft relaxed breath. I'm showing you a modification now. That's one fist stacked on top of the other to rest your forehead. If you don't find this tuck and fold of the hips, the buttocks down to the heels, if you don't find that easy, you can prop your forehead either on your fist or on a block, a cushion, as I'm using now. Because the idea is to be able to soften and relax your forehead down towards the earth or onto your prop, to soften your shoulders, to take your hands back with your palms uppermost, and coming into this lovely little relaxed fetal position, fetal fold. Being aware of the breath filling the lungs at the back of the body. but it's a soft, relaxed breath we have now. It's lovely to take these rest poses between our more active movements in yoga. So now we're coming back to our neutral all fours position, and we're going to start with an in-breath and take that cat roll of lifting the tailbone, dipping the back, lifting the heart, lifting the gaze. Toes are tucked. Then on the out-breath, as we start to tuck the tailbone, we push into the balls of the feet, push back from the heels of the hands, and start to take a little downward dog stretch, but with the knees bent on the balls of the feet, so legs remain bent. In-breath, back to that in-breath cat, lift of the tailbone, dip of the back, lift of the head. Out-breath, pushing into the balls of the feet, pushing back from the heels of the hands, lifting the tailbone. I call this a little cat-dog sandwich. Let's go again for that cat. Lift and lengthening on the in-breath, lift of the tailbone, lift of the head, and then as we start the out-breath tucking, take ourselves to downward dog. This time we'll stay there for a little while and start to what I call walk our dogs. You're bending one leg as you stretch the other heel down to the mat. Nice and slowly, softening the heart down towards the space between the legs, maybe having a little wriggle, maybe rebending both legs. Staying there as long as you like, and then coming to knees, shaking out your wrists, giving the shoulders a little roll. And then we're going to come to standing. This standing pose is called Tadasana, the mountain pose. We're taking ourselves into a beautifully balanced standing position. Feet are hip-width apart and parallel. And we're going to lift the toes, and as we lift the toes, the arches of the feet will lift. Then we spread the toes back down, being aware of those arches remaining lifted. That lift, we're switching on our ujjayi breath again. And as we breathe in, feeling that lift and lengthening going all the way up the spine and out through the crown of the head. As we breathe out, tuck the tailbone as the pelvic floor lifts. Feel that deep abdominal engagement, helping to keep your spine in neutral. Breathing in again, lifting the hands above the head and taking hold of the right wrist with the left fingers. And then as you breathe out, taking yourself in a side bend over to the left. Breathing in when you're ready to come back up. Taking hold of the left wrist with the right forefinger in front. Breathing out as you take that bend. Dropping your gaze to the floor. Softening into it. Breathing in when you're ready to come up. And repeating that on the first side. Breathing out as you bend. Dropping your gaze to the floor. Softening into that bend as you soften at the end of the out-breath. In-breath, you're lifting back up. Swapping wrists. Out-breath, you're going into that side bend. In-breath, lifting back up. Stretching both sets of fingers to the ceiling. Out-breath, lowering your arms by your sides and giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll again. We're going to take a balance now, so we're going to stand on our right foot. We're taking tree balance. We can have the toes to the floor anywhere up the leg except the knee. Maybe you want to try and press the left sole of the foot into the thigh, but don't forget you can have the toes to the floor if you're finding this balance difficult to start with. Praying hands to the heart, lovely deep in-breath. Lovely deep out breath. Feel that pelvic floor lift, it'll help to keep you stable. Next in breath, lifting arms up above the head, praying hands above the head. As you breathe out, glide the hands down to the lower of the heart. As you fill the lungs with the next in breath, you're simply turning the fingers to face forward. As you breathe out, stretching the arms forward. As you breathe in, opening, filling the lungs. And as you breathe out, lowering your arms by your side, releasing and shaking out your leg. Give your shoulders a bit of a roll, your legs a bit of a shake. And let's take that standing on the left leg. Spread those left toes. Take that right foot wherever you can. Praying hands come to the heart. Lovely deep in-breath. Feel light and buoyant with that in-breath. Connect with your core muscles as you breathe out and lift the pelvic floor. And then as you breathe in again, lift the arms out to the sides, up above your head, praying hands above the head. Breathe out as you float the arms down to the level of the heart. Breathe in as you simply turn your fingers forward. And breathe out as you stretch those arms forward. Breathe in as you open. And breathe out as you lower your arms and your leg. That was the beautiful flowing tree from Drew Yoga. So we're going to take some standing stretches and squats. We're breathing in, lifting the palms to the throat, stretching them up to the sky, just like we did earlier. Breathing out as you float your arms down by your sides. We're standing into Tadasana as we do this, feet hip distance apart, breathing in, twisting at the throat, this time pushing up onto tiptoes, another little balance. Breathing out as we float the arms down by our sides. This time breathing in just up to the throat, and as we breathe out, turn the palms down, go onto the balls of your feet, and come down into a little tiptoe squat. Breathing in as you push those palms forward, push onto the balls of your feet all the way up to that tiptoe balance. Then breathe out as you lower your arms down by your sides. Breathing in up to the throat. Breathing out as you take yourself down into that tiptoe squat. Breathing in as you stretch the palms forward, up above the head, onto tiptoes. Breathing out as you lower your arms by your sides. Breathing in all the way up to the throat. Breathing out down to that little tiptoe squat, and then come down. And you can either rest in child again, that lovely rest pose of child, that little fetal position, forehead to the floor. Or if perhaps you don't find child such a relaxing pose, take yourself to crocodile, lying on your tummy, forearms far enough folded, forearms far enough in front of you that your forehead can relax on your forearms and your chest can melt into the earth. Legs far apart, as wide apart as is comfortable for your hips. Toes relaxed, feet relaxed, toes pointing away. This is crocodile pose, so called because the wide legs are supposed to represent the snapping jaws of a crocodile. Lovely pose. We're letting go of that ujjayi breath again. Every time we come to a relaxing pose, we let go of our working breath. Lovely pose to just let go, soften and relax. Stay there as long as you like. You can pause the video if you want to for these relaxing poses. But now we're coming to Sphinx. Elbows under shoulders, fingers spread. I'm just showing you how you can take your elbows forward a little if it's too much in your back to have the elbows under shoulders, or you can take them out to the sides. So once you're in position, feeling that it's not too much for your back, not pinching at all, breathe in, and as you breathe in, stretch your heart forward, as if you're trying to stretch it towards the space between your hands. Keep the heart stretching forward, lifting as you breathe out, and take your gaze over to the right. Breathe in to come back to face forwards, and breathe out as you take your gaze to the left. Breathing in to come forwards. Breathing out as you drop your gaze to the floor, but keep the heart lifting and stretching forward. Breathe out as you switch your gaze over to the right again. Breathe in as you come back to stare at the space between your hands. Breathe out as you take your gaze over to the left, all the time looking down to the floor. Breathing in to come back to center. Breathing out as you lift your gaze forward And you can stay in Sphinx for the next in-breath, or you can press into the hands and lift the forearms and elbows and come up to seal. Don't worry if that's too strong, just stay in Sphinx. As you breathe out, you're lowering back down all the way to that fantastic crocodile pose, letting go of your strong ujjayi breath, relaxing in that fantastic crocodile pose. Softening and relaxing the body into the earth. Let go mentally as well as physically in this position. Going to gently move ourselves out of it when we're ready. Take ourselves onto our backs and give yourself a little back massage by taking a hand on each knee, rolling those knees round in a circular motion, both directions, maybe a little roll from side to side. Feeling the back muscles soften as we do that. And then taking a spinal twist, arms out to the sides at shoulder height, palms uppermost. Feet can be on the floor, or for a little more challenge, tucked into the body, feet off the floor. Take a lovely deep in-breath, and then as you breathe out, take your knees over to the left. Now this is a relaxing spinal twist, so we're going to stay in it for a few breaths. You need at least something touching the floor, so if your knees don't come all the way down regularly to the floor as you turn your gaze to look along that right arm, then maybe lift the top knee a little and balance that foot, that top foot on top of the other one. Maybe you can increase the depth of the pose by tucking the knees further up to the left arm or straightening the legs. Or maybe you need to lift that top knee, just have a foot on top of foot. Just see how you feel with these different modifications of the pose. Breathe in to come up and lift your knees to the ceiling. Breathe out as you take your knees over to the other side. Might be more challenging this side, so you might need to lift that top knee like I did just now. A foot on the top of the foot. You're turning your gaze to look along the opposite arm, but if that feels a bit awkward in your neck, just keep your gaze to the ceiling. Arms still stretched out at shoulder height. Soften your shoulders. When you go into this twist, you'll feel that twist, that stretch in your opposite shoulder. You just soften it at the end of every out breath. Maybe you want to straighten out your legs, but this is quite challenging, so don't have to do that if you don't want to. Softening with every out breath. We don't need any core engagement now, we're just using that out breath to soften down. And if you do feel a stretch in your shoulder, just like I did, you can give it a little rub with your hand. Breathe in when you're ready to come up and out of it, and give your knees a little roll, giving yourself that back massage again before you come to our final relaxation pose of Shavasana. Arms a little way away from the body, palms uppermost. That helps your shoulders just melt and soften into the mat. Legs as far apart as is comfortable for you, toes flopping away from the body. And we're just softening. We return to our relaxed breath. And every out breath, we're just feeling that we're letting go and softening. Every in breath, just checking you're still here on the mat and you haven't wandered. You're just giving your body and your mind the time to process all the benefits of your yoga practice. Feeling your limbs becoming soft and heavy. Feeling the earth support you. Finding that stillness in body and mind. To bring yourself out of this deep relaxation, make little movements, maybe wriggling the fingers, maybe wriggling the toes, maybe rolling your head gently from side to side. It's nice to come out gently and slowly when we've been in this deep relaxation. Maybe giving yourself that little back massage again, or maybe just rolling onto one side for a while before you feel ready to come back up to your seated position. And from there, moving on with your day. Thank you very much for joining me on this introduction to yoga. Om Shanti.